You're listening to SM Media, the number one place for exclusive Scottish football content.
You have the heart of a giant, show it. You got the pride of a lion, roaring. Maybe you need big love, you don't need to give up. 'Cause something real is waiting there for you. You've been flying solo, now it's time to let go.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Scottish Women's Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It is a pleasure to be your host as always, and it's a pleasure to welcome this week's special guest. Please welcome onto the show from St Johnstone, Fern, Newbigging. Fern, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, an absolute pleasure. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been we're getting to the stage now of the season where it's kind of getting to the kind of real time where kind of every result matters. I know that's the same every week, but when you're getting this close to the end of the season, every result counts.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially in our league as well, like it's so close that obviously you want to win all your games, but as well, like anybody can slip up at any time. So you've got to try and get as many points on the board as you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, obviously, like you look at the SWPL 2 where obviously St Johnstone are, and result yesterday, we'll touch on that later on, probably wasn't the best result you could have hoped for, but again, it shows you as well how open this league is. I mean, Gartcare, there was only 3 points between you, and now there's 6. It shows you just how one result can have a big change on this season, and that league is so competitive.
I know, I think we started to do like third or fourth and
Yeah.
could have ended up 6. So it's really competitive. So it's a good league to be a part of. But
As well, and obviously the one thing that always catches my eye when, like, for example, like Player of the Week's been a good example of that. Whenever there's a St Johnstone player nominated, you always seem to get behind. So there obviously is a good team cohesion. Is that fair to say?
I think that's true. I don't think any of our players have won yet, but
still early.
I know. I think we do have a good group of girls in that league. Even out with the football in that league, we'll get together and we'll do stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good group to be a part of.
And what about kind of from the coach's point of view as well? Obviously, it's a really good setup at St Johnstone. What's been kind of the ambitions for the start of the season and how you've kind of found it?
I think promotion is always what you set out to get, like in any league. Whether that was winning the league or getting into the playoff, I think that now just sort of take it one game at a time and see how we get on. If we get into the playoffs, brilliant. If no, then next season we'll really be pushing. So just take it as it comes and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Obviously, your own kind of journey in the game, like coming through at St Johnstone, what's it kind of been like? What kind of got you into football and how you kind of found it kind of progressing as the years go on?
I think I first got into football because my brother, like he's like 4.5 years older. So when I seen him playing, I just wanted to play with him and his pals, and then obviously like joined the boys team when I like first got into it. My dad was my coach and everything. And then obviously you get to a certain age where you've got to join like a girls team.
Yeah.
I think now, I went to Falkirk because it's quite close to me as well, and then my dad was still my coach, so he started being my coach until I went to Celtic in like 2015 or something.
Yeah.
But I think the opportunity for girls now is like so much greater than what it was when I was growing up. Like even the amount of girls playing now, like I'm a football coach and there's like so many like girls only classes that I'm doing, and like that's just in schools in Fife. Like there's obviously Glasgow, Edinburgh, like so many girls playing now. Then there wasn't really the opportunities for me when growing up. So
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as well, like you say, like it's probably a good time to touch on that. Obviously, the progression of the game. I mean, when you were growing up, I'd imagine kind of the prospect of SWPL game being on Sky Sports, I would have probably said you'd probably agree with me, was never an option. You're now seeing that. Probably didn't have the best ending we would have hoped for. I think that's fair, but obviously that recognition and the fact that a lot of people, I know I spoke to a lot of people who don't necessarily follow women's football, but they were, because of the level of that game getting on a platform like Sky Sports, it was a big occasion, and it just shows you how much this game's progressing.
I know, definitely, like, I don't think women's football was ever on the telly when I was really growing up. So for like players I've played with growing up, like playing on Sky Sports, like it's brilliant. Hopefully it just continues to grow and grow, and we can get more games and more leagues and different teams and stuff getting that opportunity as well. So hopefully it's only going to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously it's been a busy weekend as always in the women's football scene in Scotland. We do have some news regarding the what's going to happen next season with the Championship and League One. We'll announce that. Well, we'll not announce that, it's already out, but we'll put that up at the end of the show, talk about that as well. And we'll start by looking at SWPL 1. We did have a weekend, 4-2-0 results. Very, very interesting weekend. The big three all won. Again, we'll start with Glasgow City. They just keep on going. Again, the result on last Monday with Celtic and Rangers obviously played into their hands. Glasgow City 1-2 away to Hearts. Whelan and Muir with the goals. They're now 8 points clear, and they're in a really good position to regain their title back.
Yeah, I think definitely it's theirs to lose now. I don't see them dropping that many points. Even if Rangers and Celtic keep on winning, like, I don't think City are going to lose that many. So
it's that as well, obviously, like the 1-2 away to Hearts. It's never an easy place to go. Hearts have obviously had a really good season as well, but they're unbeaten after 24 games. It just shows you, like, a lot of people, like, I know I'm probably in this pack as well. Like, when Rangers won the league so impressively last season, people thought, is Glasgow City going to survive from that? Are they going to be able to kind of recover from that as quick? We obviously losing the manager and Leanne taking over. There's been a lot of things going against them this season, but it just shows you the remarkable team spirit they have, and again, just the pillars of recovery to get 24 games, a remarkable level of consistency so far.
yeah, definitely. I think I was probably the same last year when Rangers won. I just assumed they'd just going to win everything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because you're used to Glasgow City just winning it year after year. So when Rangers won, I thought they'd just be pretty much the same. But it's good to have like three teams fighting for the league this time, like instead of City winning it every year. Like, it's good that there's more competition now. So
yeah, I mean, it gives a level of openness as well. Obviously, this season 8 points clear. There's still enough to, obviously it just depends how the season goes. I think they still have to play each other twice, so we'll see how that goes for kind of Glasgow City. Obviously, they will need to go to both Celtic and Rangers and try and get a result just to keep that level of consistency going. But they're in such a good position. Celtic 1-2-0 at home to Partick Thistle. Amy Gallagher and an own goal with both goal scorers there. Again, Celtic, we'll touch on Rangers in a wee minute, but Celtic, all they can do is just keep winning. Again, they had that is a massive point last Monday in the scoring late on. It just gives them something to aim at, and I think that's what they'll be looking at.
yeah, definitely. I think obviously when you're trying to win the league, you can't give up no matter how big the gap at the top is. So all they can do is obviously like just try and keep winning and hope other teams around them slip up. Hopefully they probably want Rangers to beat City so that they can try and close the gap as well. So I'm sure Celtic fans only really want Rangers to win, but
I mean, it's well now at that stage where Celtic Rangers probably need each other to do them a favour, and again, it detriment to each other because there's still only a point between them and Rangers. Again, obviously hasn't been a great week for the club. Obviously, after the situation on Monday, that again hasn't really brilliant for the SWPL in particular. Obviously, it was a bit of a bad light, but on the field, the 1-2-0, they beat Hibs. Howitt and Kerr with the goals. Again, Rangers, they've been a bit. When you look at the record, they've won 18 games, drew 5, lost 1. But there's been a lot of difficult they did throw away 2 points last Monday. But they're still there with a chance. I mean, you look at their form and you think, are they going to be caught out here? But they're still in with a chance. There's only a point between them and Celtic. They still have a chance of getting there.
I know, I think to only lose one game in a season and be third, like, it just shows how well the other two teams are doing as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Monday night, they will be disappointed to concede in the 99th minute. So it's just how they react to that. And obviously they've went and won 2-0. So again, they'll just want to try and win every game possible and hope the other two slip up as well. So
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a case of where they're kind of already looking towards next season and kind of getting some players in, because I think like Jane Ross been a good example. Losing her has been a massive blow. Like I think that's probably been because they don't have, like you watched them last Monday. They don't really have that kind of focal point up front that you would say maybe a Celtic, even a Glasgow City have. Like I think that is what's been missing from Rangers.
yeah, definitely. Like you always want your best players playing. So for them to lose her is obviously no ideal, but I think like the young players that Rangers are bringing through as well, like they've been playing really well this season. So even if they've got younger ones coming through, like that can help them out next season as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's move into some of the other results. Big one for Hamilton. They won 2-0 at home to Glasgow Women. Austin and Muir with the goals. It's a huge 3 points for Hamilton, obviously, and gives them a good chance to be in to avoid the drop.
yeah, I think the bottom of that league as well is obviously entertaining. You've got Motherwell and Spartans who are probably just a wee bit adrift for the rest of them, but then everybody else is sort of fighting to stay up and stay out of that playoff place as well. So that'll be good for the rest of the season for the competition.
Yeah, bad result for Aberdeen. Obviously, they were 1-0 up at home to Spartans, but goals from Bus and Gibb give Spartans a huge 2-1 victory. And Aberdeen, they would have probably been thinking at half time, this is a potential opportunity for us to get a bit of breathing space. But again, just a difficult day. Big win for Spartans, obviously, just puts them there. The way they've kind of split lots, actually, they're above where Partick, obviously, there was between them, Motherwell and Partick Thistle. Just the way it's worked out, Spartans are obviously above them in points. It doesn't really matter because it's the top 6. But again, all they can do is just finish strongly.
Yeah, definitely. The thing with split, like there's no really much to play for. If you're not getting relegated, really, then obviously you just want to put in the best performances you can and see how many points you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big result, obviously, for Spartans. Motherwell Dundee United was a draw there. Again, Dundee United, obviously, they would have probably been thinking that a point would be a good result, but just to be obviously with Hamilton winning, they'll maybe be disappointed they didn't get all 3.
Yeah, it's always tough when you think, oh, points fine, but then teams around you end up winning.
Yeah.
So again, they'll just probably try and take every game as it comes and just beat those around them and hopefully finish out with the drop zone.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move into SWPL 2. We'll start obviously with St Johnstone Gart Cairn. It was about a busy second half. It was 0-0 at half time, and then the next 5 minutes later, I checked my phone and it was 3-1. And it just shows you just that it was a bit of a busy game. What was your overall takeaways from the performance?
I don't think we played that bad, to be fair. 2 of their goals came through corners, and then one was a wee bit of a mistake. But I don't think we can be too disheartened with the result. I think it's maybe not our best game we've played, but I don't think we were like that bad to lose 3-1. But we'll take it on the chin and go again the next time. So
yeah, there's still kind of plenty of games to, obviously it's really, really tight in that league. You look, there's only 8 points now between second and 6. It shows you just how competitive that league is, and not all 5 sides that are kind of playing for that second place now, they're not without their chances, because I'm sure you'll agree with me here, anybody can beat each other in that league. Like top 6 wise, like you look at the 6 teams you look back at the season, they've all been kind of beating each other as well, and it shows you just how a lot of the sides are capable of putting in a performance on the right day.
I think you never know what's coming week to week. We've been beat 7-1 by Montrose, and then we drew 0-0 with them. We've beat East Fife and we've drew with them as well. Like that's the team sitting at the top, team sitting at the bottom. So I mean, it's just go out and play your best or as best you can that week, and hopefully it's enough to win the game. But it's definitely really competitive, which is good because it only makes you raise your standards as well. So
I think that's the thing as well. Obviously, I'm just looking here at kind of some of the fixtures with St Johnstone. We'll look at them kind of later on, but I mean, home to Stirling Uni, home to East Fife. They're two, like, obviously, you'll be fancying to win both their games, and it could just change get to 2 wins in your next 2 games, and it could change the landscape of the league because you don't know what's going on round about you.
I know. I think as well though, like we can't really just go by looking at like league positions.
Yeah.
Because I think sure Stirling beat us the last time, so
Mhm.
even though they're below us, like we can't take it for granted that we're going to win. So we have to put in a good performance and hope it's enough.
Yeah, it's just obviously just take one game at a time. Big result for Montrose obviously puts the 3-2 win tight 3-2 win away to Queen's Park. Cully scored and get sent off as well. McFadden and Gammy with the goals. Queen's Park were 1-0 up at half time. So again, I think Montrose now, I think that could be a big weekend for Montrose, kind of coming from one down, losing a player. It's 3-2, it's a huge result, and it obviously puts them 10 points clear. And I think that's them kind of, I would say, pretty much nailed on to be champions. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think if they do go on to win it, it's probably well deserved. I think they've been consistent this season. And then obviously to win after going behind, it shows they believe in themselves, good character. So I think for the rest of us, it's all just about focusing on second place and hopefully seeing who can get into that playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Kilmarnock drew nothing each at home with Stirling Uni. Again, Kilmarnock, they'll probably look at that as a disappointing weekend with the two above them winning. Boroughmuir obviously catching up in them as well. They'll look at that as a disappointing weekend.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like with Gartcairn obviously winning, that puts them back above them.
Yeah.
But good for us. Get a wee bit closer to them. So.
And do you look at that? Obviously, like I know you said there, obviously it's maybe not right to look at league tables, but when it's an 8-team league and kind of sides round about you, when it's this tight, we'll be playing each other every week. Do you have an eye to that, or is it just a case of focusing in your own game and just seeing what happens elsewhere?
I think we definitely just focus on our own game. We didn't really discuss anything else other than ourselves and the team we're playing against. After the game, once obviously we see your result, then we can sort of have a look and see how other teams have got on. Sometimes it makes it a wee bit worse when yesterday we could have maybe ended up second or closing the gap a wee bit. Obviously with Kilmarnock picking up the 3 point as well, but we'll just see what happens and take it as it comes. But
and that is a good example. Obviously, like you made a good point there. Like if results had been your way yesterday, you could have been second. And it just shows you just one game and one weekend and it can change. But again, there's still. Am I right in saying that everybody still plays each other once? So there's going to be, is it 28 games?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but I know.
I think I'm right. I think it's just going by, like, obviously there's 21 games. So everybody's played each other 3 times. Though obviously it looks as if it's going to end towards the end of May. So I would imagine there's going to be 7 fixtures left. How important is that running?
I think it is really important. Obviously, we want to win every game, but if other teams can do us a favour round about us, then maybe there's a wee bit where we can draw a couple. We've drew enough the last month, so I think we're due a win. But I obviously just try and put in some good performances and hopefully get the result that comes with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Final result in SWPL 2. Boroughmuir Thistle beat East Fife 1-0. Sammy Duncan with the goals. Boroughmuir obviously went above St Johnstone. But again, it just shows you, but like it's so tight. Like again, just Boroughmuir probably maybe again just been a bit like yourself, just struggling for that bit, just getting some wins on the board again. It's just both teams have won 8 games. They've drew 1 more game. It just shows you like just a couple of more wins for both sides, and it could be a different story.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we drew each other the other week.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a really good league to be a part of because you never ever know what's coming. Like you could check the results and nothing would really surprise you. So just got to focus on yourself. And
yeah, absolutely. Looking at the championship, Livingston won 3-0 away to Hutchie Vale. Mulligan, Hughes, Lee and Anderson with the goals. Obviously, kind of looking at this with the kind of angle of next season, it looks like Livingston are going to be pretty much in a good position to go on and win the title. They're probably going to. I think they're going to do really well next season in that league if they go up.
I think they probably are going to go up. We played them a few seasons ago in a friendly, and they were a good side. Like, obviously, they were league below when we played them as well, but
yeah,
like it was still a competitive game, and it was a good game to be a part of. So I think they'll do all right if they come up next season. So.
Yep, absolutely. Renfrew ladies won 4-1 away to Morton. Erin goal with a double. Baird and Brown were the goal scorers there. Again, Renfrew, you just look at them, they're 8 points behind Livingston. I think second place, you can get into a playoff with 7th. I'm not 100% sure how that league's working yet. Again, just obviously that will probably become important information later on when we kind of look at the kind of what's left to look at for the promotion and relegation. But Renfrew, all they can do is just keep winning and try and kind of get as close to Livingston as possible.
Yeah, I think Livingston beat them quite a bit the other week, but I think since then I think Renfrew have been doing all right. So obviously they'll be disappointed with that defeat, but obviously just try to keep going along and try to stay as close to them as they can, and hopefully get that playoff place if it's on.
Absolutely. Rossvale beat Ayr United 3-2. Rossvale were 2-0 up. Ayr brought it back to 2-2, and a late winner from Brogan Anderson. Huge 3 points for Rossvale. And they're 6 points behind Renfrew, but if 2 games in hand, win those 2 games in hand, they're level in points.
Yeah, I think Rossvale were close to getting promoted last season, so I think anybody that goes up, that'll be a good addition to the league. It'll still be competitive, so it's good to just keep an eye on that league as well and just see who potentially can come up. And
final result in League One: Inverness 4, Dryborough 2. Kaylee McKenzie with a double for Inverness. They'll probably be looking at kind of building for next season. Obviously, they're in a really good run of form. I think they've won 3 of the last 4, and it's just a case of finishing the season strongly and trying to build for what's coming next season.
Yeah, I think if you're sort of mid-table when there's not really much to play for in terms of promotion or relegation, it probably is just about focusing on next season and building, like maybe trying out new things formation-wise, personnel-wise, to give ourselves the best chance to try and get promoted for next season.
Yep, absolutely. Obviously, it's going to be a busy end to the season in that league. League One, there was only one game to talk about, but it had big implications. Edinburgh Cali are into the top 6 in that league. They won 4-1 at home to Grampian ladies. Margot Duran Watson with a double, Russell and Brown with the goals. Big achievement for Edinburgh Cali to get into the top 6.
Yeah, I think so. I think always at the start of the season, top 6 is maybe the goal, and then you can see where you can go for there, whether it's getting promoted or finishing as high as you can. But yeah, I think top 6 is a good achievement for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a wee bit of news regarding the League One for next season. The top 6 fixtures have been announced. They will be on the Scottish Women's Football website, but there's been news on how the league's going to work next season, and the SWF. Just going to read it basically word for word, and I'll get your thoughts on it, Fern. The championship is being expanded to 10 teams, so the top 2 sides in League One who meet the entry criteria will be promoted. There will be 1 team relegated from League One to the regional BIFA SWFL, while 3 teams will enter the National League to keep League One at 12 teams for next season. Again, it just shows you as well, obviously, the SWFL is obviously a regional. There's 4 leagues. I don't know how that's going to work. I think there'll be more to come of that. Once we know more, obviously, we'll let you know. But the championship been expanded to 10 teams. I don't know if FC Edinburgh can get into the championship. Obviously, I don't know if they meet the entry criteria. Somebody can let us know if that's the case. But again, it's very likely if they win the league and the options to go up, they will go up. But again, it's just interesting. It just shows you, though, that again, the progression of the women's game for 4 regional leagues as well. It gives these sides a massive opportunity to get into the national leagues.
Yeah, I think it's good that obviously the leagues are growing. It gives more competition, gives you like different teams to play against rather than the same few every other week. Obviously, the regional teams will be hoping to get promoted, however that's going to work. But I think with FC Edinburgh, I think they are a good side. So it'd be disappointing if they couldn't get promoted. Because again, we've played them pre-season as well, and it was a good game. So I think they are a good side, but it would be nice to see them get promoted if they can. But
yeah, absolutely. I think it's obviously going to be very interesting how that plays out. But it's again good to have just a bit of clarity and obviously how the league's going to work, because I think a lot of people were wondering how it was going to operate. We kind of have a rough idea now, so it's going to be an exciting end to the season. And again with St Johnstone, obviously before we wrap up, there are 7 games between now and the end of the season. How much is the thought of maybe getting into that promotion hunt? I know it's obviously just taking a game at a time, but it's going to be a really interesting end to the season. It must be good from a personal point of view, obviously, to be really involved in that.
It is good. I do enjoy, obviously, the pressure and not being able to like slip up in that. But if we didn't do it this year, then full focus next year will be on getting promoted and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Fern, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show. Best of luck for the rest of the season. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels for our consistent women's football content. And as always, follow us on social media. Thanks very much, folks. We'll see you soon. Cheers.